I can speak hours and hours on similarities, but time permitted me only to speak about the 5 pillars. I'll just mention a few other similarities before I end my lecture. One of the similarities that is there in the scripture of the major world religions is that alcohol is prohibited. Allah says in the Quran in Surah Maida, chapter number 5, verse number 90, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, O you believe, innamal khamru wal maisuru, more certainly intoxicants and gambling, wal anzabu wal aslamu, dedication of stones, divination of arrows, rijsun min amali shaitan, these are Satan's handiwork. Fashtanibu la'allakum tuflihun, abstain from this handiwork that you may prosper. So Quran forbids intoxicants, gambling, fortune telling, idol worship. The same is prohibited in the other religions. If you read the Hindu scriptures, it too prohibits the having of alcohol. Alcohol is prohibited in Manusmriti chapter number 9 verse number 235, Manusmriti chapter number 9 verse number 238, Manusmriti chapter number 11 verse 55, Manusmriti chapter number 11 verse number 94, Manusmriti chapter number 7 verse number 47 to 50, Manusmriti chapter number 9 verse number 225, Manusmriti chapter number 11 verse 151. Alcohol is also prohibited in Rig Veda, book number 8, hymn number 2, verse number 12, and Rig Veda, book number 8, hymn number 21, verse number 14. Alcohol is even prohibited in the Bible. If you read the book of Proverbs, chapter number 20, verse number 1, it says, wine is a mocker, and whoever drinks it, he is deceived. Further, it's mentioned in the book of Ephesians, chapter number 5, verse number 18, that be not drunk with wine. Besides alcohol, Surah Maida chapter 5 verse number 90 also speaks about gambling and fortune telling. Gambling is prohibited in Hindu scriptures. It's further mentioned in Rig Veda, book number 10, hymn number 34, mantra number 3 to 13. It's against gambling. Gambling is also prohibited in Manusmriti chapter number 7 verse 47. It's also prohibited in Manusmriti chapter number 7 verse number 50. Manusmriti chapter number 9 verse number 221 to 228. It's also prohibited in Manusmriti chapter number 9 verse number 258. Besides gambling, even fortune telling is prohibited in Manusmriti chapter number 9 verse number 258 to 262. Similarly, if you read the Bible, gambling and fortune telling is also prohibited in the book of Isaiah chapter number 65 verse number 11 to 12. Further, mentioning about other similarities, the Quran mentions in no less than 4 different places, in Surah Baqarah chapter number 2 verse number 173, in Surah Maida chapter 5 verse number 3, in Surah Anam chapter number 6 verse 145, and Surah Nahl chapter number 16 verse number 115, Hurrimat alaykumul maytatu waddamu walahmul khinzir, wama uhilla li ghayrillah bi, forbidden for you for food are dead meat, blood, the flesh of swine, and any food on which any name besides Allah's name is taken. Clearly, in no less than 4 different places, pork is prohibited in the Quran. Pork is also prohibited in the Hindu scriptures. In Manusmriti chapter number 5 verse number 19, it says, whoever is twice born, referring to the Brahmin, they shall not have mushroom, dung heap pig, village cock, onion and garlic. Whoever does that will fall. That means it is prohibited for a Brahmin to have pork. It's further mentioned in Vishnu Sutra, chapter number 5, verse number 49, that whoever sells the forbidden meat, talking about pork, he'll be punished in the same way. That means either his hand or his foot will be chopped off. Nowhere in the hadith of the Quran it's mentioned that if you sell pork, your hand or your feet will be chopped off. But Vishnu Sutra, Hindu scripture, chapter 5, verse number 49 says, if you sell pork, your hand or your foot should be chopped off. Pork is also prohibited in the Bible. It's mentioned in the book of Leviticus, chapter number 11, verse number 78, that though the swine is cloven-footed and has hoofed legs, it chews not the cud. It's unclean for you. Thou shalt not eat its flesh, nor touch its carcass. The swine is unclean for you. The same message is repeated in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter number 14, verse number 8. Thou shalt not have the flesh of swine. It's unclean for you. Not thou shalt touch its carcass. The same message that pork is prohibited is repeated in the book of Isaiah, chapter number 65, verse number 2 to 5. Even about dead meat, about having blood, and any food on which any name besides Allah is taken is also prohibited in the Bible. Time will not permit me to give the references. Refer to my video cassette, Similarities Between Islam and Christianity, for more details. I'll just give one more last similarity which is very important. That is about hijab. And we know very well that the 6 criteria for hijab in Islam, according to the glorious Quran and the Sahih Hadith, The first is the extent. For the man, it's from the navel to the knee. For the woman, the complete body should be covered. The only part that can be seen are the face and the hands up to the wrist. Some scholars say even this should be covered. The remaining 5 criteria are the same for the man and the woman. The second is the clothes they wear, it should not be tight-fitting. The clothes should not reveal the figure. The third, it should not be transparent or translucent so that you can see through. The fourth, it should not be so glamorous so that it attracts the opposite sex. Fifth, it should not resemble that of the unbeliever. And sixth, it should not resemble that of the opposite sex. These criteria of hijab are also mentioned in the Hindu scriptures. If you read the Rig Veda, book number 8, hymn number 33, verse number 19, it says that Brahma has made you a lady. So lower your gaze and do not look on top, and look towards the feet. It's further mentioned in Rig Veda, book number 10, hymn number 85, mantra number 30, that the husband who wears the garments of his wife around the limb, he is a wicked person. Similar message that you cannot wear clothes of the opposite sex. The same message repeated even in the Old Testament and the New Testament. It's mentioned in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter number 22, verse number 5. The man shall not wear clothes that which pertain to a woman, and a woman shall not wear clothes that which pertain to a man. And whoever does so